Are you in the market for a full-size e-bike that retails for right around $500? And this video is for you. Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. As you can see in this video, we are looking at the fifth wheel. It's the Mate version. It's a 500-watt brushless motor with a 1,000-watt peak. You know what though? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. I wanted to show you this real quick because Fifth Wheel recommends that you take this out in its entirety packaged together. Do not separate any of the zip ties or anything, just take it out as is. They recommend a two-man lift. I was able to get this out by myself, but it definitely would have been easier with a second person. You can see that we have our bike and all of our parts right here zip tied together. And of course, I've opened up this box that's down here to the left. That has like our pedals and some other wrenches and such, and of course, our directions. What I'm gonna do now is I'm actually going to separate all of the packaging and start assembling this e-bike. That bike was securely packaged. It took me about 5 minutes to get everything unpackaged. I do appreciate all of the care they took to wrap up this bike for shipping. Now we're gonna start the assembly process. The second step after removing the bike from the box is to align your front forks. You can see the way I have them aligned right here. I have the spot where the light is gonna be attached. I also have the adjustment for the suspension or shocks on the right side. Now that I have it set up like this, I also have it so where my handlebars and the wire will not be tangled. Make sure you maneuver that correctly before this next step. The forks are aligned correctly, but this stem is in the incorrect position. So there's like a rubber stopper. You just want to peel this off, and it's actually going to release an Allen wrench. We have to loosen that up so we can spin this part outward. Now we're going to use the included Allen wrench to loosen up a few of these bolts. Here's the first one. Actually, it was not on there very tight. There's also one right here and one on the other side. We're going to loosen that so we can spin this part completely around. Once you're loosened, this should freely spin around. Now you want to make sure this is aligned nice and straight with your bike. You're going to tighten the two lower bolts again and then tighten the top piece. Now that's tightened back down. Let's put our rubber stopper back in. That thing should be solid. It's time to install our handlebars, and there are actually 4 bolts right here are gonna hold on the handlebar, so you're gonna take each and every one of these off. We're using the smaller of the Allen wrenches that were provided, so take all 4 off, and then we're gonna put on our handlebars. With the bracket off, we can actually bring up our handlebars right to this area. Now, look at how I have my wires right here in the front. That's exactly how you want it. I'm not gonna be bothered with the wheel. I'm not gonna be tangled. Also, if you can see this right here, this is your control panel. That's gonna be on your left side. That's of course where your brakes are gonna go. So we can adjust all this later, but just make sure this is the orientation in which you put your handlebars. Although I did that myself, it would have been a lot easier had I had someone help me hold the handlebars on when I put the bracket on. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to alternate tightening these down just to make sure they are nice and secure. There we have it. Our handlebars are now attached. I should say, I noticed this as I was putting the handlebars on, your keys to release your battery are hooked right here to the handlebar. I'm going to take these off and put them away, but if you were looking for them, that's where they attached them to. The next step is actually installing our front wheel, except, well, it has this protective piece on. You just got to wiggle it off. Once it's off, there you go. Now we can install the wheel. Before we can officially install the wheel, there's a spanner bolt that they had installed. You actually have to loosen this and pop it off, and then we can put our wheel in and then tighten it down with the bolt that we're supposed to use. That's just there to make sure the forks stay separated during transportation. Space is out. I do have the wheel just setting right here to be connected. There is this tool that we're supposed to utilize right now to stick it right through. This is going to tighten us down. So I got this side, and I'm going to take it to the other side. This little spring, the cone goes towards the bike there, and now I have this tightening down nut right on this side. And so what I'm going to try to do on video is show you how to put this together. We're going to push that bolt through, start tightening down on this side. All right, once we're there, now we're going to turn to the other side and tighten it down and really lock this wheel into place. Now that we're back on the other side, you want to make sure this is tight enough where you can actually get this thing in place to keep the wheel there. You also want to make sure it's not too tight where you cannot bend up this locking mechanism. With this lever up, we know that we are locked in and safe. Who's ready to install the pedals? That's what's up next. So you want to make sure you put the left pedal on the left side, and man, they do label this for you. We're going to start screwing this in. The pedals actually screw in the opposite direction of what you would think you would typically screw in, so it's a lefty-tighty in this case. Your bolt that you're included, or your wrench that you're included, does work this bolt. Make sure you tighten that down all the way. The thread should not be showing. Now it's time to install our seat, so let's loosen up the connector. slide the pole down. You might have to tighten this down just a little bit and then tighten this back down. You want to make sure your seat does not fall down. And there it is. Our entire e-bike is assembled. Let's take off the battery and charge it, and then we can test this thing out officially. You can tell that I've already been riding this, but before your first ride, make sure you inflate your tires. They do not come fully inflated. The recommendation is between 45 and 65. I put mine right around 50 and it feels pretty good, but you can adjust that according to how you like to ride. We still have to install our headlight, but I wanted to take this for a test drive just to see how it fit, and I could tell right away these handlebars are not right for me. So I do need to adjust this up. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna loosen this bolt. I will say it took me a lot of effort for the initial loosening, but you know what, now it's pretty loose because I've already done it. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna loosen this up, raise up the handlebars to where it's gonna be a comfortable level. Now I'm gonna have to come back and readjust where I hooked on the handlebars. That's okay, but this is how you adjust your handlebars into a more comfortable fit for you. This is especially more important for people that are a little taller. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We're actually gonna loosen this bolt right here because we wanna install our front headlight. So I'm gonna use the wrench that was included, loosen that bolt, and then we'll put the headlight on. Now that we took that bolt out, we're gonna fish it through the hardware and tighten it back down. Now our light is attached, and well, there is a control right here on the handle. We can turn it on and off. You can now safely ride at night. And all the fun, I forgot to put our back reflector on. So let's pop the seat back off. Slide your reflector back on. It just goes right up here. There is a screw spot where you can tighten it down at the perfect height. Put that back in, tighten it down, and you're good to go. Let's talk all things battery. In addition to being able to turn your battery off on the control panel, you can actually turn your battery off here as well. This little flap is what hides the area where you're gonna plug it in. We're gonna show you that in just a second. Put that back on. I'm gonna draw your attention right up here as well. In addition to being able to see the battery light indicator on your control panel, and you can actually also see it here, it just lightens up the area. Pretty convenient having it in two places. Now let's show you how to remove your battery. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna slide the key in place, twist it. This battery just slides straight up and out. You can take it with you and charge, or just keep it with you for safekeeping. When you wanna put it back in, slide it to the top, lock it back into place, and turn your key again. Always test it to make sure you got it correct. To charge your battery, we're going to use the included charger right here into the port on the battery and let that charge. Let's take a close look at our power brick, because on our power brick, we're going to see that there's a little tiny light down at the bottom that is red when it's charging. And then of course that will be green when it's fully charged. Let's walk you through the process here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold down the M button just to turn the unit on. Now this has powered up the battery on this unit. So I can use the up and down here to change the level of support from the motor all the way down to 0, which is the lowest. That means the motor's not gonna help me at all. I can go all the way up to 3, which is the highest. We can also use the M button to cycle through the different options on this. It's actually really neat, all the different things that you can track just by utilizing this onboard control. Of course, to turn it off, I can push and hold that M. As with any bike, going downhill is super awesome. This one goes really, really fast. What I appreciate, however, is even going uphill, this motor will take me all the way up. I don't even need to pedal unless I wanted to. After about 3 miles of riding, I want to talk about this front suspension. As you can see, I have it unlocked, but I can just switch it right here and lock it so that thing will just be stiff. You want the suspension unlocked if you're going on like rough terrain, and you can lock it if you're like just on a paved area. I was initially worried that there was no suspension in the back, but let me show you something. The back seat actually has a built-in spring, which is almost like your rear suspension, and these springs actually absorb all the bumps as you're riding down the road or on the trail. So tell me, what are your thoughts of the fifth wheel e-bike? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Man, I thought this e-bike was impressive on the paved area, but it's even more impressive on this grass. There's uphills, there's downhills, and this thing just cuts right through it. As I've been driving, this thing's caught up some serious speed, and if I didn't turn like I should have, I would have gone right into the woods. This e-bike actually has 3 different modes. You can ride this just like a bicycle. You can either have the battery turned off or have the power support all the way down to 0, and then it's just a regular bike. You can also use this in what's called pedal assist mode, which means you're pedaling, but the battery and the motor are giving you a little help. And of course, there are 3 different settings, 1, 2, and 3, that give you a little bit of support, 1 being the least, 3 being the most. Of course, you can turn that feature off and still use the onboard control by having it all the way down to 0. Then, of course, there is the full e-bike, which is my favorite. It does have 3 different settings as well, 1, 2, and 3. 3 giving you that highest speed possible. Cool thing is, with the battery powered on, I can actually utilize the included headlight in front. That is so very neat. Did I mention there's also a horn? I want to talk a little bit about the 468 watt hour battery, and that is a lot of battery included in this, and it's hard to tell the range because it all depends on what you're riding on, whether that's hardscape or grass or hills or whatnot, and also depends on the size of the rider. The max weight that this is supposed to carry is 265 pounds. I'm right around 250, and I've been riding this only on the E feature, or more specifically just utilizing the E battery, and I've gone over 4 miles and I still have almost a full battery. It does do a great job as far as the battery support. If we talk about the speed, I will say it fluctuates based on what you're riding on. If you're riding on a flat surface, I've gotten this thing at 20 miles an hour. In my opinion, if you're riding that fast, you absolutely should wear a helmet. I will say if you're riding on grass or up a hill, it drops down between 10 and 15 miles per hour. I did find as I'm going uphill or on grass, it does help out the bike to pedal along with it, and then you can pick up those speeds again. I was reading through the reviews on Amazon. As per this video, they have a 4.3 star rating. Most of the reviews are positive. I will say I read through some of the negative ones. One of them actually said that their front wheel arrived bent. With overseas shipping, that kind of stuff can happen, and although it's frustrating, you can take these type of tires or wheels to a bicycle shop and they can true the wheels for like 15 to 30 bucks. So in my opinion, that's not a write-off or a deal breaker. And so if my tire ended up getting bent, that's what I would do. Take it to a local bicycle shop and say, hey, can you true this wheel for me? And most people do it for under 30 bucks. Another review said the brakes didn't work that well. Well, those are definitely things that you can adjust once you have your bike. If you like your brakes to run a little tighter, you can do that. If you want them to be a little looser, then you can modify those yourself. Anyway, that was my full review of the fifth wheel Mate. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.